If you've ever wondered what it would be like to travel in space, and who hasn't, our next story will give you some fascinating answers. I was lucky enough to interview astronaut Ron Garan about his voyages on the far side of our planet. Astronaut Ron Garan has logged some 71 million miles in orbit, an extraordinary experience most of us can only dream about. Can you describe what weightlessness is like?
It's euphoric. I mean, it's really it's not like floating in a pool. It's just wonderful feeling of freedom, where if with a touch of a finger you can go flying across the room, and if you're working on something on the floor and you don't want to bend over, you just flip upside down and turn the floor into the ceiling, and it's just an amazing experience.
Garan chronicles his space travel in his new book, The Orbital Perspective, Lessons in Seeing the Big Picture from a Journey of 71 Million Miles. He covers everything from the larger sense of purpose he felt upon returning to Earth to the daily logistics of living beyond our planet. And despite his NASA pedigree, Garan patiently answers the questions we all wonder about. I'm so curious, what are the questions that people ask you the most?
The question that I get asked most is, how do you go to the bathroom in space?
Well, what's the answer?
Well, the short answer is anything that we use gravity for here on the Earth, we use air currents on the space station.
In the book you talked about when you were first trying to sleep, you didn't really know what to do with your head.
Yeah.
What was that all about?
So I'd say it took me 3 to 4 weeks to learn how to sleep, which unfortunately on my first mission was only 2 weeks long, so I never really figured it out on my first mission. And yeah, where my head would go as I relax, I found uncomfortable.
Right.
So you just had to learn. You know, I think part of it was the muscles in your neck, or need to get used to that.
Yeah.
And eventually they did, and but once I did get used to it, it's a wonderful sleep because you don't have all the pressure points of laying on a mattress. So each of us have crew quarters,
Yeah.
little closet-sized rooms
Yeah.
that we have, and we sleep in sleeping bags. So you are floating inside your sleeping bag, which is floating inside your crew quarters.
Wow. We met with Garan at the Space Shuttle Pavilion of the Intrepid Sea, Air and Space Museum, where he showed us up close the type of capsule he returned to Earth in after his second mission. So just explain to me where you were.
I was in that seat right there. So the right seat. So your knees are in your chest, you're wearing a spacesuit, you got your helmet on. As you're entering through the atmosphere, the G's really build up. You feel like you have an elephant sitting on your chest. You're struggling to, or laboring to breathe. The parachute's open, you get thrown all over the place. This whole time there's fire going by the window as you're hurling on fire through the atmosphere. It's quite exciting.
It's surprising because it's not as big as I would have thought.
No, it's like 3 guys in the trunk of a car.
Now retired as a NASA astronaut, Ron Garan is busy here on Earth as a global humanitarian and social entrepreneur, focused on creating a more sustainable planet. As he explains in his book, it's a perspective he gained by seeing our world from a distance.
It really gives you this sense that we're all interconnected. When you see the planet as a whole, there's also the sobering contradiction between the beauty of our planet on one hand and the unfortunate realities of life on our planet on the other hand. Our planet, you realize when you look at our beautiful planet that life on our planet is not always as beautiful as it looks from space. I think the one thing that I'd want people to take away is that we are incredibly powerful. Each and every one of us is incredibly powerful to affect real change in the world.
And as Ron Garan realized when his space capsule returned to Earth, that change starts by redefining what home means for all of us.
So my window now is pointing at the ground when we finally came to rest, and looking out there, and I saw a rock of flower and a blade of grass, and I thought, I'm home. And then immediately, as I had that thought, it dawned on me, wow, I'm home, but I'm in Kazakhstan. And so I think at that moment, it really did redefine what home was. Home was Earth.